guys, what is going on? Blossom is back, and welcome back to another episode of Top Drives. Today is going to be a what you can get from that pack series, but I'm going to make it a little different because obviously it's really easy to find out what you can get from a pack now, alright? The pack in question is obviously the German Renaissance Saloon Carbon Fiber, and I'll be opening one of these packs, somewhere throughout the video when I feel like it. But it's really easy now to find out what cars you can get from the pack. I don't really need to make a video specifically on that anymore because if I go into Aventador SVJ finals, obviously beautiful prize car, love that, love the color as well. If you click play and you go and you click the German Renaissance Saloon ×5, all you need to do now is click filter and click all cars, and that's it. That is my whole what you can get from that pack series, like thrown out the window. It's so much easier to do now. All you need to do is filter all cars and you can see literally everything you can get from this pack. So I'm gonna change this series up a bit. Instead of just telling you what cars you can get from the pack, we're gonna go through the event as a whole, the Aventador SVJ event. So I'm gonna tell you what are the best cars you can use and why, and what are the best compromises you can use if you don't have the legendary. So with that said, let's get into it. So here we go. Let's go through the 4 track sets that you will get first. So for winning the Aventador SVJ, this beautiful car over here, you're going to be encountering 4 track sets for this event, and that's how it always works. There are always 4 different track sets for you to choose from. Well, not really for you to choose from. They come out randomly, and hopefully you have a hand that can brave all of them or most of them pretty well. So track set number 1, and here's the interesting thing. This is the first finals we've had in a very long time where all track sets 100% rain. So all track sets are going to be rain. So this is track set number 1 out of 4. It is City Streets Medium, Quarter Mile, Fast Circuit, Slalom, and Highway. That is 3 fast and 2 twisty. That's how I like to break down my tracks. Fast, twisty, fast, twisty. It makes everything so much easier to comprehend when I'm making a hand. Every time I think of hand now, I just think of my own hand. I'm injured, by the way. I think, for those of you guys that may not know, I went for an X-ray earlier today. I have an injury to my ligament. Like, it's not completely torn, but it's slightly torn, so it's pretty bad. I'll be out for a while. I work out a lot, so this kind of sucks. At least I can still do cardio and I can swim, but even the doctor, the professional, he even told me that I couldn't even chop vegetables with my left hand, which is a problem because I'm left-handed. But anyway, I'm sorry about that tangent. But what was I talking about? Because I was saying like hand and comprehend, and then I started thinking about my hand. Sorry. But yes, so basically 3 fast, 2 twisty. The City Streets Medium, take into account the City Streets Mediums are fast. Okay, because these are not the vanilla City Streets Mediums that you can play in the campaign. No, these are the Santa Monica City Streets, which means these are the fast ones. These are the ones where you kind of start on the hill and there's just a long drag down, I think, and then there's like 1 turn and then it's just 1 long drag to the finish. It's something like that. Like 996 is better on City Streets Medium. We saw this in the Eurus finals back in February where I had this car maxed out. I thought, oh, this car is going to be amazing for City Streets Medium. For vanilla, maybe, but because it was Santa Monica and it favors fast cars, the Audi TTRS was really the car you wanted to use because that car was medium at the time, and also you wanted the 996 TTRS, not a 969, not a 699, but a 996. So that is Santa Monica City Streets. It's a fast track, right? Quarter Mile needs no introduction. Fast track, fast circuit, fast track. Slalom, twisty, highway, twisty. Now let's move on to track set number 2. The second track set you may encounter starts off with a G-force, followed by a half mile, a highway, 0 to 100, and a car park. Okay, so they're going to be 3 twisties and 2 fast. Track set number 1 was 3 fast, 2 twisties. Track set number 2 is 3 twisties, 2 fast. Now, in terms of point economy, you win more points on the fast circuit, on the fast tracks, especially 0 to 100, 1 mile, quarter mile. You win more points that way. It's easier to lose by 50 on a twisty track than it is to lose by 50 on the quarter mile. So once again, any track sets that has especially the second one with a half mile and 0 to 100, this favors high tier cars such as the M5 Competition as well as the BMW M5. So just to keep that in mind. Now we go into track set number 3. We have Highway, City Streets Medium, Hairpin, Car Park, and Twist. twisty, which means we have 3 twisties in highway, car park, and twisty. Now, highway, this is Santa Monica Highway. This is the one where it ends in the car park. I'm pretty sure it starts by the water, and then you drive into the city, and then you end in the car park. And just going from the transition from getting from the city into the car park, there are already, I think, 4 turns or something like that. So for that reason alone, I'm going to consider highway as more of a twisty. And then for hairpin, I said 3 twisty and 1 fast. Hairpin, I call it a hybrid. It's kind of like, it's hard to determine what hairpin actually is, right? If the handling differences are so minute, like if a car had minute differences in handling and 0 to 60, but one car had better 0 to 60 than the other, but worse handling than the other, the car of the lower to 0 to 60 would probably win, right? Like cars like my Dodge Demon is actually surprisingly really good on the hairpin, although it has 88 handling, because it has 1.90 to 60. So hairpin's a pretty strange one. I consider it a hybrid. Let me know down in the comments below if you think it's more of a fast or more of a twisty. Last one is track set number 4. We have car park, twisty circuit, city streets medium again, which is Santa Monica, twisty road, and half mile, which leaves us 3 twisty and 2 fast. So technically you can say that this is 3 twisty and 2 fast. These are what the track sets are. So basically when you want to create a hand, you want to think, oh, I want 3 twisty cars, 2 fast cars. Of course, track set number 1 is actually 3 fast and 2 twisty, but once again, one of the fast is a fast circuit. Even if you had a twisty car on a fast circuit, you wouldn't lose by too much. Or even city streets for that matter. Actually, Santa Monica, you might lose by quite a bit because there's a pretty long drag going into the end. Unlike fast circuit where it comes off a turn and then it goes into the straight. So yeah, I wouldn't be too fussed about track set number 1. Really, what I can tell from the track sets is that you want 3 twisties and 2 fast. So this is what you can get from the pack, okay? So I'm going to tell you what are the cars that you really should be looking out for if you are going to open this pack. So legendaries aside, these legendaries, obviously they're all going to be super useful. I'm not going to talk about the legendaries too much because it's pretty, easy to understand that if you get it, you're going to use it. It's going to be good. In fact, there is such a massive difference that unlike in some finals where legendaries you might need to put like a fuse or something like that, these you don't. The only reason why you want to put a fuse into the M5 is not to beat an epic. No. It's just to beat the legendary, right? Another player with the same legendary you have. These 2 cars are absolutely amazing. This car is going to be amazing for Santa Monica city streets because, it's fast and it's also medium. I don't know for how much longer. And the M5 is built for all the drags, the 0 to 100, the quarter miles, the half miles. You want to use it for those tracks. In fact, I don't know why I closed my book because I can now tell you that you can use this car for fast circuit, quarter mile, highway is okay, right? You can use 0 to 100, half mile, hairpin, city streets, no, not city streets medium, not anymore. And then tier 4, not tier 4, but track set 4, you have the half mile as well. And then like this one, basically you want to use it for city streets medium, probably 0 to 100 or half mile. That works as well, 3.0, 0 to 60. And then obviously city streets medium there. Track sets 1, 3, and 4 all have Santa Monica city streets. So this car is going to be very, very useful. Once again, it's all rain, so if you have the 640i, this thing is going to save you as well. Now, once again, this is one of the best standard tire cars in the game. Actually, I'm wrong. This is the best standard tire car in the game. The best standard tire drag car in the game goes to the Cadillac 16, but outside of the drag, everything else goes to the BMW 640i. This is an amazing standard tire car. You can use this for slalom, highway. You can use it for the fast circuit if you didn't have any of these 2. And this legendary will beat the Volkswagens and most likely the 750D as well. However, fast circuit, maxed out 750i versus a 1-star 640i, that's going to be a pretty interesting one actually. I don't know much about that because there's a 0.30 to 60 difference and this car has MRA, very, very good MRA. Okay, so anyway, the legendaries, like I said, I'm not going to talk too much about them. If you get them, you will use them. So let's move on to the epics. These are the ones where people might have, like maybe you might have one Arteon in your garage and you might be thinking, Is that useful? Is that enough to carry me? Obviously, one epic is not going to be enough to carry you, but now the next question is it a key epic? Alright, so let's talk about the epics that are completely useless for this event. If you have a 545i, a 535i, or a Volkswagen Phaeton, I'm sorry, those three are absolutely useless, okay? Now, in terms of the twisty epics, I would either recommend the Arteon or the Volkswagen CC. The Arteon looks like it is going to be the better car, but this is a good substitute, the CC. In fact, the CC might even be the best one for track set number 2, which has a G-force, because it has 79 handling, and this is obviously epics only, right? The legendaries, obviously this is going to be the best for the G-force, but yeah, 79 handling, that's actually one more than the Arteon, so it might beat the Arteon if they're both maxed on the G-force, but the Arteon would be the CC and everything else. With that said, however, these two cars are very good. Now, the 750 Li and the 750i, these cars are both amazing in the fact that they have really good MRA. Obviously, once again, the 750i is going to be much better. In fact, the 750 Li, it's a substitute, yeah, but it's still going to lose. So in fact, I'm going to say this one's going to be useless as well. If you have the Phaeton, the 750, the 535, or the 545, that's all fused. That's not going to win you much. The cars that you really want here would either be the 750, the M3CS wouldn't be too bad. This M3CS is basically going to be one of your best substitutes if you don't have an M760. And the M760 is going to be your best substitute if you don't have an M5 or an M5 competition. So unfortunately, the M3CS, although it would have been an amazing key car if there was any dry circuits, there aren't. So in terms of the drags, it wouldn't be bad, but you know, you will lose to the M760 because this has 4-wheel drive. You will lose to the M5, you will lose to the M5 competition delimited. So, you know, for me, I have two M3CSs. I thought I was gonna have fun because I had two of them and I was like, ooh, maybe I can get a tier 1, maybe. No, it's not. This event is catered towards the M760 for sure. This is the car you want to get. This would be a great car if you don't have the legendaries for a fast circuit, for the drags, all that kind of stuff. Another car that is actually completely useless is the 750D X-Drive. A lot of players have this car maxed out, and I have it maxed out included because we needed this for the Euros finals, and I feel like Hutch knew that, and this is really sly, but also really smart from their end, because they knew a lot of people had this max. They were like, alright, we're going to make track sets that do not favor it, but favor the rear-wheel drive car instead. Now, this one nobody had during the Euros finals, because the Euros finals was 2010 to 2014, German, this is 2016. Now, speaking about the Euros finals, which I think is quite funny, the track sets that we see here are exactly the same to the track sets from the Euros finals. Now, obviously, they're randomized in a different order. Like, track set number 1 wasn't a 100% copy and paste, but the track set pool, the pool is the same in the SVJ finals as they were the Euros finals, which I think is pretty interesting because they're both Lamborghini finals, right? Now, hear me out. The Euros finals also had Santa Monica City Streets. It also had a fast circuit. It also had a twisty road, also a twisty circuit, also highway, and I'm pretty sure it also had G-force, and it definitely had hairpin. They're very similar events in terms of track sets. But with that said, that's just a pretty nice little fact that I found out when I was making this video. So it doesn't really help your chances in winning the SVJ or not. It's just a pretty cool fact. Moving on to ultra rares now, let's talk about what's useful and what's not. So usually, if you're deciding what ultra rares you want to use for a tri-series, at this point, you're not even going to think about getting tier 1. You're probably not going to get tier 1, especially since the RQ limit for this one is RQ 500. Yeah, you're not going to get tier 1. We've had finals in the past where the RQ limit is like 350, 370, where ultra rares would be needed, but this one is 500, so tough luck, Chief. Anyway, in terms of ultra rares, if you were just thinking what are the best ultra rares to get from this pack, honestly, in terms of ultra rares, the only good ultra rare to get from this pack is the 520D, which you can also get from the single player Yellowbird campaign. In fact, I actually just got this from the Yellowbird. Yes, it is called the Yellowbird, from the Yellowbird campaign today, when I was coming back from the hospital. So yeah, I got 2 of those now, which is pretty nice, but this is really the only ultra rare you want. The Gran Turismo would be a better version though. Like, you would want to choose the Gran Turismo over the 520D for the fast circuit, as well as the Santa Monica City Streets. That one's going to be better, but the 520D is going to be the best car to use for G4s in track set number 2, car park, and track set number 4, Twisty Road, and Twisty Circuit, right? So that's a pretty good ultra rare. This is one I would keep. This one's pretty good as well. However, these 4 over here are pretty useless because these 3 standard tires, they're just going to lose to the 520D or the 328i, depending on what tracks that you put them on. Like these 3 are gonna lose to the 328i on the twisties, and these 3 are gonna lose on the fast, and these 3 are gonna lose to the 520D. 520D. All these BMW names is gonna kill me. They're all gonna lose to the 520D on the twisties. You know what I mean? So these 3 are gonna be useless. The 435, I have this maxed out. I recently maxed it out too. Unfortunately, it's also gonna be useless for the final, but it's a decent car to have in your garage. And it's not the best, right? It's for most people. It's going to be fused, but it's decent, right? And honestly, anything below super rares, you're done. Like, don't even bother. Like, they don't even bother trying. The super rares suck. So really, what the key cars to look out for are the 3 legendaries. The M760 is going to be pretty useful for this event. However, it's not going to be useful for like any other event ever, because this is like its only time for this car to shine, because when you look at it, it doesn't handle, and it's only useful for wet drags. How often do you actually see wet drags? Because this event is so restricted to German Renaissance Saloon, then yeah, you can use the 760 Li for wet drags. But let's say you took German Renaissance Saloon away and you put in all the 4-wheel drive cars that you had to your disposal. Suddenly, the M760 isn't that useful anymore. So that's just one thing to think about. It's a very key car for this final if you don't have the legendaries. And even if you had the legendaries, since you know there's 3 fast circuits, like even if you had one M5, this would still help you because there are at least 2 fast circuits in every track set, right? It's a very key car for this finals, but outside of this finals, you're probably never ever going to use it again. And then other key cars would be the Arteon as well as the CC. Everything else, even the M3CS, as much as it pains me to say it, just isn't that useful for this event. At least the M3CS is useful outside of this event. Cars like these, like 3 BMWs, are useless literally everywhere. Anyway, that is it. Let me know what you think about this new version of pack, what you can get from that pack, because obviously I want to make content where you can actually learn something, or you know, deduce something, or just something where I put my mind to it. You know, if I just showed you what you can get from this pack, it would be quite a useless series now, because all you can do is just go into the filter and you know, do what I did. But yeah, this is the hand that I'm using. But with that said, I hope this video helped you. I'm now going to open a German Renaissance Saloon carbon fiber, because why not? I saved up enough gold for 1, so I might as well just open 1. So let's go, pack number 1, and the only pack. Let's see what we can get before we end this video. I think there are Dodge carbon fibers coming out like in a couple days, but I thought about it and I was like, let's just go with this pack instead. I already have every single Dodge. I'm only looking for 1. Anyway, BMW 330i. Can we go double ultra? I don't think so. I think we're gonna get that RQ49. You know, the Tupac Mercedes, not the Mercedes, the Tupac BMW. Let's see. No, it wasn't even a German, so it was a Bentley Azure. But let's see what we get before we end the video, and we get a BMW 330D. So once again, nothing too special, just an ultra rare. But what can I say? I recently got King Donk, so I can't really complain that much. But anyway, I hope this video helped you, and I hope it helped you decide as well if you're gonna choose to enter the finals or not. But with that said, I hope you guys have a great day. Remember to wash your hands and stay safe. Blossom out.